Hello everyone, I'm Women International Master Knarik and I'm using the chesswithknarik.com website to record this video. In addition, we are also introducing our new platform. It's the chess.ie platform, which has been published, and you can also visit it and see all the features inside. Now, in this video, we're going to see how to come up with plans, the best way to come up with plans. Let's say in a middle game, often we think after developing our pieces, okay, what now? What should my plan be? Well, and we often play, let's say, random moves, or sometimes we make a plan but might not be the correct plan in this specific position. So to create the correct plan, we should first evaluate the position. To evaluate the position, there are 3 steps in a systematic way that we should follow. And if we have this practice in time, it will become much faster and we will get used to this process and create better plans in time. So let's start. The first point in evaluating a position should be, of course, looking at the material. So in this position, if we see the material, white has an extra pawn. And what about the second point? In the second point, we should look at the positional evaluation. We should do the positional evaluation, which means we should look at different factors. For example, at the top of the positional evaluation comes the king's safety. Also, we should look at the center, for example, weak pawns, weak squares, active pieces or not active pieces, open files. All these are points we should look at when we are trying to evaluate the position positionally. So here, we can of course say that if we compare the king's safety, we can say that the white king is unsafe, while the black king is much safer. We can also say that white has control of the center. They have 2 pawns there, the queen is there. White has control of the center while black doesn't. We have a good bishop, the dark square bishop with black, the light square bishop that black has, that's a good bishop. The bishop of the white pieces has not been developed yet. So, what's the third step in evaluating a position? And in the third step, we should look if there is an immediate tactical possibility. So, for example, is there here right away a combination that is going to checkmate? Is there here right away, let's say, a fork or a pin, or right away, let's say I sacrifice a queen and checkmate? Because if there is such a tactical possibility, then we don't really need to create any other plans. We just do that tactic and just take the advantage, get the advantage. So here, if we look at this position, I don't see that there is any tactical possibility, which means that now we need to create a plan. And to create a plan, we need to remember all the positional points that we mentioned before. And one of the most important things that we mentioned is that our opponent's king is unsafe, which means that for sure my plan should be attacking the king as fast as possible, because if I'm slow, white can find ways to defend. And another thing should be that if my plan involves attacking, then I should definitely avoid trading queens. And so here, on the other hand, black can also here, there's right away, for black, there's a plan that can get our pawn back with black. We have a pawn down, we are a pawn down. Right away, we can just get a pawn back. So let's see how about that. If we do the plan that gets the pawn back, let's say here, we play the bishop to e6, the white queen is going to have to move away, and we can just capture the a2 pawn, and we will be equal in material. But here, what's going to happen? In this position, white is going to move away the queen, either to c5 or maybe to b5, and okay, we will capture the pawn, but then white is going to be able to trade queens, which is something that we don't want to do. We said we don't want to do this because we have an attack on the white king and we want to keep the queens. So that's how we know here in this line the queens are being traded. That's how I know I don't want to go to this line with black. I don't want to play this plan because since my opponent's king is unsafe, I want to keep the queens, even if it means that I'm playing with a pawn down. So Next is, let's find the best way to attack. Then let's find the best way to create an attack and keep our queens on the chessboard. So here, we need to think. If you want, you can pause the video and try to come up with your own plan to attack the white king as fast as possible. And here, the best way to do that, the fastest way to do that would be just pushing the pawn to c5. And when we push the pawn to c5, of course, here in this position, white should not capture with the queen, because what happens is that the queen and the king will be on the same file, and we can just pin the queen and win it on the next move. And going back, what if white captures with the pawn on c5, attacking our queen as well? Did we just sacrifice a second pawn in this position? Well, now what can black play? If we just move our rook to c8, already we are attacking. We have a very strong attack, and it's almost undefendable by white, because here, how will white defend? Here we have the threat of capturing on c5 with a fork. Moves like pawn to b4 don't work because we capture that. We still have the same threats. What else should white play here? Let's say another problem white has is that the king cannot try to hide on b1 and a1 because our bishop is blocking that diagonal. So what else can white play here? Just any other move. Let's say even trying to get the king out. Let's say from d2 is not going to be so easy to do, because still we can capture on c5, we can capture on b2 with a check, and later we also have the rook to d8, one of the rooks to d8. It's a very strong attack here that definitely is winning for black. So let's go back to the initial position and let's do a fast recap of what we just said. If we want to create a plan, let's evaluate a position. And when we're evaluating the position, let's come up with our plan based on 3 different considerations: material. We have to look at the material evaluation, we have to look at the positional evaluation, and also we should look at the tactical possibilities, and then create our plan.